All right, my friend, welcome. My name is Dr. Anthony Balduzzi. I'm the founder here at the Fit Father Project. In today's video, we're gonna deep dive on the best muscle building diet for men. And this is gonna be far different than some of the other top 10 best foods, BS kind of things you might find on the internet. We're gonna deep dive here in our kitchen. We're gonna cover all the best foods and we're gonna show you how to combine them into a meal plan to help build muscle, boost your metabolism, burn fat, whatever your goal is right now. So first off, why should you even listen to me and my team? Well, here at the Fit Father Project, my team and I have helped over 10,000 busy guys lose over 75,000 pounds of fat and build lean muscle at any age. And myself personally, I've had a lot of experience as a former national champion bodybuilder. So we know a thing or two about muscle building, but more importantly, we know how to make muscle building in terms of the proper diet plan simple and sustainable. So we're gonna cover that in this video. I know you're gonna learn a ton. So get out your pen and paper, take some notes, and let's dive on in.
FitFatherProject.com.
All right, so the best muscle building diet plan, there's a little bit of a controversy over this anyways, because there are so many different ways that you could eat to build muscle. So we're gonna give you the science of what does work, as well as our personal philosophy, because I need you to know that there's a lot of different approaches. You may have heard some people that say, oh, you need to do an intermittent fasting kind of plan, or oh, you need to eat keto to build muscle. Well, here at the FFP, our approach is more of the old school, tried and true muscle building diet that includes the right kinds of proteins, carbs, and healthy fats in the context of a simple meal plan. So in today's video, we're gonna cover some of the best protein foods, carb foods, fat foods, and we're gonna show you how to slam it together into a simple meal plan. So the foundation of a muscle building diet in our book starts with setting your protein target. So as a general rule of thumb, we like higher protein diets. They support muscle growth, and when you're dieting, they prevent you from losing muscle. So we'd like to set your protein target at around 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per pound body weight. Now, if you are not in the US and you don't use pounds, we understand there's actually conversions below in the description of this video to show you what your protein target should be in kilograms. But point being is we need, let's say a 200-pound man, roughly a guy who's like 80 kilograms, needs to have around 200 grams of protein each day. And we want to divide that up into a couple different meals. Meal timing when it comes to building muscle is more of a convenience factor. It really doesn't matter from the research whether you eat 6 small meals per day or if you have square breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You just want to find the thing that works best for your schedule. What does actually matter is your total protein intake for the day. But we find it's a little more manageable to split up your protein intake kind of more evenly throughout the day in terms of a breakfast, lunch, snack, and dinner. There's lots of different ways you can do it. You can certainly do intermittent fasting, etc., and eat all your protein in a couple hours at the end of the day. But it's a little easier to eat, let's say, 50 grams of protein 4 times per day than it is to try to slam 200 grams of protein all at once. And we don't even know how well you're going to digest that amount of protein in that short window of time. So protein, we know we need a good rich sources, and we want to make sure they're clean sources. So one of our best protein sources is actually wild caught fish. So here we actually have some wild Alaskan salmon that my family and I caught at a fishing trip. So I want to bring this out here to bring up one key point. Is fish is an amazing source of protein and something you may see a lot of bodybuilders say is a staple of their meal plan, but fish quality matters. I do not want you eating low quality fish that is high in mercury. So in particular, fish like swordfish, big fish like shark, certain kinds of tuna, they have lots of mercury. So although they look good when you look at the nutrition label and you're like, oh my God, this tuna fish has like 25 grams of protein and 1 gram of fat, that's great. Well, the problem is it's also loaded with methyl mercury, which is a kind of mercury that stays in your brain for 30 years and is directly neurotoxic. And as a person who wants to build some muscle, you need your nervous system to function just as well as your muscles themselves so you can actually lift and perform in your workouts. So low quality fish is a no-no. We cover that more in the description below of some good protein sources, but fish can be a great staple. So what we like is wild caught salmon is great. Here we have some wild caught halibut. But again, you don't have to be a pro chef or anything like that to get these protein sources. Other things we like that are really simple and you don't need to cook are things like wild sardines. They come in a can. This is one of the best muscle building foods because it's so convenient. It has all the omega-3 fatty acids that is the good stuff about the salmon, and it's lower in the food chain, so the mercury is not a concern. And we also do like wild canned salmon as well. This is better than tuna because you don't have the mercury concern. And again, this is wild fish, so it's not farmed irresponsibly. So fish can be a great staple, but we didn't have it here in this video. What I'd also recommend is if you do eat an omnivorous diet, meaning you eat both animals and plants, then things like grass-fed ground beef, free-range organic chicken are also great protein sources. But again, quality matters. I don't want you skimping and getting really low quality protein sources. We don't want you eating non-organic grain-fed cows, which are pumped full of all sorts of hormones. They're eating the kind of grains that are sprayed with pesticides. That stuff gets into the meat. The fat quality suffers. Not good. Quality matters, but you don't have to break the bank to get high quality protein. You can certainly go to one of these bulk grocery stores like a Costco or a Sam's Club, and instead of spending like $10 per pound of grass-fed beef at a high-end grocery store, you can get it for about half that price in bulk. So that's definitely a good option. So we have our fishes, our chickens, we have any grass-fed ground beef, etc. If you have access to wild game, things like, venison, elk, bison, some of these other kind of things, really great protein sources. They're very lean. Another great protein source I want you to include in your diet is, if you can, some high quality eggs. And this is egg whites, which are convenient because it doesn't have any of the fat of the egg yolk. And we'll get to that in just a second. But high quality eggs are rich in the kind of protein that actually is high in amino acid called L-leucine that directly stimulates muscle building. So a lot of these good protein, or I should say muscle building diets, especially a lot of the old school ones, have eggs as a staple, and for good reason, because eggs have a really high quality complete protein. But you also do want some amount of the healthy fats in the eggs, that the cholesterol in a high quality egg here, these are some pasture raised eggs, is actually beneficial for increasing your testosterone levels, which can directly support your muscle building. So this is something we do with all our Fit Father Project program members, whether they're on our FF30X fat loss program or our old school muscle building program. We have them include eggs on a near daily basis, and this can help support your testosterone levels. Eggs are a great complete protein source. Research shows they actually raise your good HDL cholesterol, increase your immune system, and it's not correlated with increasing any of your risk of heart attacks with the eggs. So that is what the research shows. Definitely include eggs into your diet. But some other more convenient protein sources that aren't necessarily whole foods based are protein powders. And I have a couple here. I got a standard whey protein powder. You've probably seen tons of these online. A good quality whey protein powder is not necessary for building muscle. It's merely convenient. Again, if we can reach our whole protein target for the day that we talked about from whole food sources, you do not need protein powders in your diet. But they're helpful. So let's say you're at work and you have that long stretch between lunch at noon and dinner at 7, and you want to get some kind of protein source to hit your numbers. Well, a whey protein shake can be an amazing part of your plan, or you can do it post-exercise. So we highly recommend you include some kind of protein powder. It does not have to be dairy-based like whey. Whey is a proven great muscle building source, but hey, we have some plant-based protein blends over here, and this is made from rice, chia, hemp, and spirulina. So amazing. You can get it all plant-based source as well. So you don't necessarily have to have dairy proteins to build muscle. The plant-based sources work as well. There is one particular kind of dairy protein called casein that you may or may not be aware of. This is almost like the brother of whey. Milk protein by its very nature is 80% casein, 20% whey. So casein is the casein portion of the milk protein, and it's more of a slow release protein that time releases amino acids over a number of hours, 6+ hours. So this is a great protein if you can tolerate it and it doesn't cause any problems with you in terms of digestion or food allergies at night. And research shows that casein at night can help you build muscle. That's not bro science. There's actually some research supporting that. But I also need to, talk about the other side of the coin, is that there's research studies that do show that diets high in casein are positively associated with an increase in cancer. So we're talking strictly about muscle building. Casein is a useful tool. Is it your best bet for overall long-term health? I would say not necessarily, and that's why I don't keep casein in my diet. For all the years that I was bodybuilding, I definitely included casein in other whole food milk proteins. So, for example, if you know that you can tolerate dairy in your diet, then you can absolutely use cheese as a high-quality protein source. Things like cottage cheese, or I have a goat cheese over here too, which is a great protein source. You can have this stuff in your diet. You just need to know if it works with your body specifically. So, one more thing I want to say is plant-based protein sources don't get enough of a good rep when it comes to building muscle. So things like a fermented tofu, which is called tempeh, kind of looks like this kind of looks like some weird like curded up stuff. It's tofu. Organic can be a great protein source, and in men, in the proper intakes, so like we have some organic tofu right here, it can be a great muscle building protein source. It's not going to cause all sorts of the problems where it's going to increase your estrogen dramatically, etc. There are plant-based bodybuilders that have tons of soy in their diet, as long as it's organic, high quality soy. preferably the fermented kind in tempeh, can still be a part of your muscle building meal plan, as well as the fact that things like beans here, although they're not a pure protein source, can be a great source of protein. And you can certainly, whether or not you eat plants or animals or a combination of those, include some beans that are soaked and pressure cooked into your diet as well as a great protein source. So I think we've covered some of the good proteins here, but now we're going to move on to the other two macronutrients because we need to cover all the bases. Protein's important, but fats and carbs are just as important. So let's get to carbohydrates. Believe it or not, carbohydrates are just as stimulative of muscle growth as protein themselves. Carbohydrates stimulate insulin, and we want healthy insulin signaling in our bodies, and insulin downstream can help increase muscle protein synthesis. That's why you look at all these big bodybuilders, the guys who are paid as professionals to build as much muscle as possible. A large percent of their diet comes from carbohydrates. They eat more carbs than they eat protein. Why? Because carbs work for fueling your workouts, and they increase the muscle glycogen, they fill your muscles out, and they directly stimulate muscle building. So can you build muscle on a no-carb diet plan? Absolutely. Yes, it's possible. Is it suboptimal? Yes, we do believe so. We believe it's suboptimal. That's why we want to include the right kinds of carb sources at the right time. So here are some of our favorite carb sources. We love any kind of rice. So we have some brown rice, we have some black rice. Doesn't really matter. Rice is a very clean carb source. It's great because there's really nothing but carbs in there. There's no fats. And if you get an organic, high quality rice, it's something you can cook in bulk and eat throughout the week. That's why a lot of these staple bodybuilding plans include rice as a good carb. Oatmeal is very similar in that vein. It just has a little more of great fiber and it's a little higher in protein than rice, but oats are a great thing to include into your morning. If you want to really increase the amount of healthy carbohydrates with your protein, you can mix the oatmeal with some eggs, with some whey protein, with some berries. Like that's a really great muscle building meal. So these are some of our go-to carbs, and I didn't bring them out for this video, but we love sweet potatoes and yams. These are amazing because they're so simple, great carb source. They help keep your energy level stable. They're filled with lots of fiber, good vitamins, and you can just throw a couple of yams in the oven, cook them for the week, and then you have them to pair with any of your protein sources. So when you cook your carbs in bulk, it makes it super easy to make muscle building meals because you can pair, a serving of carbohydrate, like let's just say 6 ounces of sweet potato with around 6 ounces of a salmon or so, and then you have the backings of a protein muscle building meal. But we can't forget about the fats, so we're going to get into that next. Fats are also important for muscle building. Fats help increase our hormone production, so fats are really implicated in raising your testosterone. We do know people who eat very, very low fat diets and low cholesterol diets tend to have lower testosterone levels. So fats are healthy. They also give us energy to train, and we want the healthy right kinds of fats. So some of our favorite fat sources here are extra virgin olive oil. In addition to those meals with the carbohydrates and the proteins, I want you to drizzle this on any kind of side salad or veggies. It's amazingly good fat. It's anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, will help you recover from your training, will keep your heart healthy. It's really great. Another thing you may see is some coconut oil or MCT oil. This is a very special kind of fat that's great to either cook with or drizzle on, again, your protein or your carb sources. And your body specifically uses these special fats, these MCTs, these medium chain triglycerides, to increase your energy and boost your metabolism. So this is great for training. It's like one of the unique fat sources that is processed very quickly and can be used to fuel your training. Other things we like are nuts and seeds. So here I have a big bulk bag of almonds here. These are great to throw on the side for some added healthy fats. Again, we have some of this full fat dairy. Like I have the goat cheese and we have avocados. So the way I kind of think about this when building these muscle building meals is let's pick the protein source first. Let's throw a side of the carbohydrates, and then let's add the healthy fats on the end. So protein, carbs, and healthy fats. And what it might end up looking like is about a quarter of your plate is protein. So for most guys, that ends up being a 6 ounce to, let's just say, 8 ounce serving of protein. And then the other quarter of your plate or so is carbohydrates, and it might be around a similar gram amount of carbs, if not a little bit higher. So that might be 1 cup of cooked rice or a sweet potato, and again, that depends on your exact body size and the amount you exercise. And then on the side, I might throw fat. So it might look like chicken, rice, and a half of an avocado for the healthy fats, or some almonds, or I drizzle some olive oil on there. So those are really great healthy fat sources. And so that's just a really good way to think about it. As you start to understand the foods that are in each category, the proteins, the carbs, the fats, you can combine them into endless options, and you don't have to go cook complicated meals. What you do need to do is prep your carbs in bulk, prep your proteins in bulk, and add the fats on the side. And it really is as simple as, like, let's say I cooked a bunch of wild salmon for the week and I cooked a bunch of rice. I could have, scoop and a half of the rice if that's my carb target. I could have the 6 ounces of salmon, and then I could drizzle some olive oil on some mixed greens and just pull some salad out and throw it on the plate. Meals can be that simple. And here are some visual examples of what some muscle building meals might look like, so you can see that you do not have to spend hours cooking to make good muscle building meals. That's why I want to show you things like the wild salmon and the sardines. This stuff does not need to be cooked. You can just really pop it on a plate with some of your pre-cooked carbs and you have a muscle building meal ready to go. And so that's really what I wanted to cover here. Now we'll get into a couple different kinds of snack options. Fruit can be very valuable in a muscle building meal plan. It's a great source of carbohydrates. You ideally want to get some organic fruit. It's a great thing to have before or after training. The fruit sugars themselves are very fast digesting, and there is some research that shows that having fruit post-workout helps preferentially refill the glycogen, the stored carbs in your liver, which can help your recovery from exercise. So fruit post-workout, really great. I love that. And it can be a great snack. So let's say you had your breakfast at 8, your lunch at noon, and your dinner's at 7, but you want something in the middle. You could certainly do some fruit, a small baggie of almonds, something you can bring to the office, and you can have a little bit of protein with that. So that's a very, very simple meal that doesn't require cooking, or you can have a tin of sardines. So we want to make muscle building meal plan, we want to make it very consistent and simple, because ultimately if you can't stick to getting the right number of calories every single day, then you're not going to see the results even if you're eating the healthy foods. So we also have a couple good free resources that I want to point you in the direction of right now. Because you're interested in muscle building diet, I recommend you scroll below and check out our free muscle building calorie calculator that tells you how many calories that you burn every day and how many calories you should be eating to build muscle, because you need to make sure you're in a slight calorie surplus. We have a calculator that does that. You can scroll below, click that link, and then it enables you to make a copy of that calculator, and you can type in your height, your weight, your age, your activity level, and it gives you your number, which gives you something to start with. And if you're the kind of guy out there that just wants it a done-for-you plan, that's like, hey, dude, here's your exact meal plan, here are your workouts, here's the supplements, which we cover in future videos as well, then I do recommend you check out our old school muscle building program. There's also links below. We give you the full old school training plan that's perfect for building muscle with the diet, with the supplements. We take out all the guesswork and basically hand you the muscle building Bible that's going to help you see gains this week. But overall, I'm happy that you stuck with me on this video. Again, this is a very, very big topic, and I wanted to give you some practical examples of the kind of foods you can put into your diet and how you can get these things prepped. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. I highly do recommend that you check out that old school muscle building program, and you check out other links that we have below in the description on some of the best muscle building supplements. I have some of them here, but I want to tease you that we're going to cover these more in depth in a future video, because when it comes to supplements, they're a part of this plan here, but food is the basis. That's why we want to talk about food first. So hope you enjoyed this video and you learned something. If you did, give us a thumbs up, drop us a comment below, and above all, subscribe to our Fit Father Project YouTube channel. After you hit that subscribe button, make sure you click that little bell to get notified when we post new videos. We post one new video every single day. We have hundreds of videos on the channel on stuff like muscle building nutrition. We also talk about how to lose fat quickly and keep it off, the proper supplements, how to get and stay motivated, actual workout examples. We have all that on the channel and over at our blog. So if you like this video and you want more of this, then definitely subscribe, and we'd love to have you in our brotherhood and see you around the channel. Thank you for being here, my friend. Check out those links below to Old School Muscle, and you can see all the links to the other supplement videos, and I'll see you around the channel, and I'll talk to you very soon.